Hi guys, Sophie is 6 months old. I absolutely cannot believe that she's already 6 months old. The time is going by really, really quickly and she's growing up so fast. She's also done a lot for a human who's only 6 months old. I remember it was shortly after I filmed her 4-month update, like 2 days after I filmed that we went on a international trip, and she had her first, international travel on airplanes, really long flights, and that was a big milestone. And this time, a couple days after I filmed her 5-month update, so just a little bit more than a month ago, we all moved. So 2 days after I filmed her 5-month update, our whole house was packed up and we moved from Iowa, which is where we were living for my husband's job. We had a house there. We were planning on staying there forever, but he got a new job, a really good job over on the East Coast. So we decided to move, and did I mention it's close to her grandparents, so we're now much, much closer to my parents. It was kind of a no-brainer to move. And so anyway, this past month has been absolutely crazy, and she has been amazing. In the midst of all the traveling, driving here took us several days. I mean, we did it in stages and it was many hours, and along the way she hit milestones. I think when you challenge a baby, even if you have them do stuff that normally they don't do well, when you challenge them to do those things, they meet the challenge, like it's when they're put in new situations that they learn. So for instance, 2 things happened this past month which have been great. One is that she now likes her car seat. She used to hate her car seat, but she got a lot of practice driving, cutie, driving all the way out here, and so now she's learned to enjoy it and even fall asleep whenever I drive. The other thing that she's learned how to do, when we were packing up our house, my husband and I needed a lot of time without the baby to be able to pack and clean and do all sorts of stuff. And so this one learned how to sleep on her own. Up until that point, I was wearing her for naps, and then at nighttime she couldn't sleep on her own and would just go to bed when we did and would sleep right here on me. Well, right around 4.5 months, she started to not be comfortable anymore sleeping on us. And she started sleeping next to us. So she's still in bed with us. However, she sleeps in a little co-sleeper. It's called a DockATot. And she has loved the DockATot and even takes naps in there. Now, ever since moving to where I'm filming right now, we're in this temporary housing right now. My husband's new job put us in temporary housing until we find a new place to live. It has not been the most comfortable to sleep in for her because there are no blackout curtains, and so it never gets very dark. And so her naps, she's kind of gone backwards. Like during the day, it's really hard for her to sleep alone because the room is just so bright. So I have been wearing her again these last couple weeks, but I don't think that's because she has to do it. It's just, in this temporary house, that's what we're going to be doing. So, okay, so that's the big news, is that we moved halfway across the country, and we're really happy to be here, but it has been incredibly busy, just so busy. Lots of fun, but busy, and we're close to her grandparents, so she gets to spend a lot of time with family. Something I never thought I'd be able to say, that we would live in the same town as family. So that's been incredibly awesome, being close to grandparents. So a little bit about her this month. She just a few days ago at her doctor's appointment, she weighed 17 pounds. She's 27 inches long, so that's 7 inches longer than she was at birth. A couple of the things that she's done this month, she finally rolled over, so she was a little bit late in the game for rolling over, and I think that's mainly just because she doesn't like being on her back or her belly. She loves sitting. She's been able to sit unsupported for a long time now. Like by the time she was 4 months, she was sitting unsupported. She started doing it like 3.5 months. But she finally did roll over, so the first thing she did was from her belly to her back, and then closer to when she turned 6 months, she finally rolled from her back to her belly. Hi. Okay, you saw she grabbed my face. I guess I'll talk about that. We're still nursing, and that's going really well, and one of the things that she's started doing when she nurses is plays with my face. You know, she'll stick a finger in my mouth, like pull on my teeth, stick it up my nose, play with my hair. It's really cute. So she's really grabbing things a lot more now. Still putting a lot of things in her mouth. That reminds me, her mouth. She got her first 2 teeth, and it's really hard to see them, especially if you like want to. But I'll try to insert a picture or something where you can see those. But she got the 2 bottom teeth right there about a week before she turned 6 months, and it's cool. She's got teeth now. The other thing that she's started doing is crawling backwards. So she's not crawling yet, and you know, that will probably be another month or so, but she's doing the first stage where she'll get on her belly and, you know, push up like that and push herself backwards. And you can tell she wants to go forward, but she can only go backward so far, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's pretty cute when she does that, but at least she can get around really well, pushing herself backwards. She can get all the way across the room. She's also started putting weight on her legs, which is something she didn't do before. That's definitely like a new development. When you put her on her feet, she stands. You see, she's standing right now. And so she's like experimenting with, you know, upright vertical position, and I think that'll only become more and more pronounced. Probably the next stage is she'll be pulling herself up. She's just getting so strong and so big. She does other really cute things like blows bubbles with her mouth. She goes, makes kind of farty noises, and yeah, and bubbles come out of her mouth, and she does that a lot. And for the amount that she does it, I found it really hard to get a video of her doing it. I got a split second, and I'll try to include it if it's, oh, she just did it now. I'm cute. Can you understand words? Do you know what I'm saying? All right, well, I'll try to insert a video of her doing that. It's really cute. Other things, she's really vocal. She talks to herself, you know, like when she's playing, she'll just lie down on her mat and like grab at things and talk to them, and all sorts of noises and sounds. She's really interested in eating, and we're going to start solids now that she's 6 months. Solids are the next thing, so I'll talk about that in her next update, how that went, the solids. She sleeps through the night. She wakes up a couple times, like half wakes up to eat, but she's pretty much sleeping for like anywhere between 10 and 11 hours at night. She, like from like 7:30 until 6, she'll sleep, and then she wakes up 2 or 3 times to nurse. But since she's right next to me, I can just whip it out, and she goes right back to sleep. So that's really good. And what else? So we talked about crawling is coming, the putting weight on your legs, the 2 teeth, her weight. Yeah, it's just been an incredibly busy month, and she has done such a good job being so resilient to all of it, all of the change. She's somebody who has always liked being home, and she likes being in familiar places, familiar surroundings, and so considering that, she's done really well. Maybe she's a little bit more attached to me. Like, she definitely has the stranger danger thing. If somebody else tries to hold her, it doesn't always go well. Sometimes she just screams. That being said, she's also chill in a lot of ways. Her personality is pretty laid back, and she often gives strangers smiles. You know, people talk to her and smile at her all the time, and she smiles back, and, you know, she just makes people happy around her. I was riding the public transportation, and I had her with me, and I was just, you know, playing with her to keep her entertained. And I stood up before my stop, and just before I got off, some lady came up to me, and she said to me, I know this might sound weird, and I'm sorry for being weird, but I just want to tell you that you've restored my faith in humanity. Just watching you interact with your baby has made me so happy. I was in a bad mood when I got on, and you've put me in a better mood, and thank you so much. It was just so sweet to watch you interact with your baby, and she's so sweet. Anyway, that was like an amazing thing to hear from a stranger, and I can totally identify with that feeling, like just the joy being around her and just how sweet she is. And look, she's in a cuddly phase. Now she's old enough to cuddle and big enough. And look at my sweet little baby. Yeah, I love being her mom. And it's just, life is really good, guys. And now that we're settled in, you will be seeing more videos from me. I have a whole list of diabetes specific content that I want to do. And I'll be getting to those. Thanks for your patience, though. It's been a crazy month, and yeah, I'm just happy to have our 6-month update finally finished. So I think that's it. Ooh, we got some bubble blowing. You want to say anything else, Sophie? Nope? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I say bye-bye. I say bye-bye. I do bye-bye. Oh, you see the teeth? Let's see those teeth. Let's see those teeth. There they are. Okay. Bye, guys.
Cuckoo!